Hey, what's up, YouTube? So, I found this picture. Well, I didn't find it. Somebody sent it to me, and uh, I didn't even know the person like that. You kind of just have sometimes you have friends on social media you don't know how y'all follow each other, but I guess you guys had maybe similar views or something, so you guys end up getting into the same social circles or networks. So, um, this is I guess like a behavior mindset. Uh, it's titled "What I Can Control and What I Can't Control," or what I can control and what I can't. So you have two areas: what's inside your psyche, well, what's inside your head, and what's outside of your head. So your the influence that other things have on the world that you can't control, and the influence that you can control. So there are your boundaries that you set for yourself and others. Um, so maybe it could be even something like going out or staying up late. You know, if you know it's going to affect you negatively the next day, that's something you can control. Um, a counterpart to that would be um, there are sirens going off 24/7. Like, you can't get no sleep. It's out of your control. So, what would you do? Well, if you have headphones or if you have something that could block out the sound, you can put this back into your control. So, I'm not sure that I completely understand. Uh, well, I want to say I completely understand the concept, but I mean, I'm learning just like everybody else. So, the goal I would set, just looking here also, is just to be more aligned with this method of thinking and to see if it, you know, has a positive outcome because we're all trying to basically become better. I mean, that's what I want. Um, so the next one is your thoughts and actions. So that was kind of like what we just said. If you go and it's late and you know there are sirens going off and you can't sleep, well, what can you do to alleviate that? That's in your control. So you wear some headphones so you can go to sleep, or you get some earmuffs so you could block out that noise. Maybe you get you meditate. Maybe you meditate 15-20 minutes before you start your day, just so that it could be you know you could feel a little less pressure. um what you give your in There's what I give my energy to. So I have this very, very, very bad, and this is something that I actually would like to work on because um, it has but like it's very potent. Like, energy is very, very potent and dense. So when you have a strong juxtaposition towards something, or well, when you have a strong view towards something, um, there could be a juxtaposition to where you react in a way that's not uh, something that replicates your actual beliefs. So people want peace, but people will do things that go against peace to get it, if that makes sense. So what I give my energy to is positive things. You want to give your energy towards things that can let you release this energy in a positive way, because if you're always clashing and fighting with somebody, then it's just going to increase more and more. um, if you give your energy to people that are, you know, they for whatever reason were abused themselves, so they like picking fights with you, or you feel like you whenever you get around these people that it's just a fight, or they always got some backhanded argument or backhanded comment to say to you when you're just going to get some water when you heating up your water. So I mean, pure example. Um, I'm clearly trying to avoid talking to somebody, dealing with somebody, but they'll make remarks and little slick shit. Excuse me. They'll make little slick comments and stuff, and I feel like it could be done because they're trying to get a spark out of you. So in turn, what I'm doing is I'm letting everybody know, hey, if you feel this type of way, try and do something different. You don't have to explode on that person, but you can show the world why what's happening to you doesn't feel good. So maybe it doesn't happen to, another person. And in that process, it helps me feel a little bit better because I know that other people could be going through this thing. Other people could be 27, 37, living with their parents still. 40 years old living with their parents. And we'll mock them, but half the time, these people are just as hardworking as the next person. So we have to remember what we can control in ourselves. We shouldn't be focused on everything outside because we have no influence. We have no control over those things. Um, I can't control why the person, shot me, but what I can control is not going back to where the fuck I was shot at, right? Like, I can control not being around that stuff, not being around those people. Um, I don't like men that just abuse it and they all they want to do is fucking be with women and sleep through women and not do anything to help a woman. I don't want to sit up there and basically just freak all these women just for my own pure pleasure. I don't think that's right. But when you don't understand that that's not a that's not a goal you should have set for yourself. Um, we lose what's important to us trying to please other people because why would somebody raised by a single mother want to go be basically like a homewrecker or a flirtatious man? Well, it's because what was introduced to him. So once you acknowledge that, that's when it's your duty to change that. So if there are certain parts that you see, you have from people, it's extremely hard, and I'm guilty of it. I still blow up and I still snap, and I don't like it at all. Um, and what was happening is I felt like people knew this is how I reacted, so they tried even harder to get me to fit that narrative. And I had no issue doing it because I knew that they were wrong and I knew what they were doing. So it made it even easier to have that energy. But all that does is kill me. They don't give a fuck. Excuse my language, but your own parents will drive you crazy just so that they will feel like they are the ones in the right. Um, Whereas I feel like right is right and wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter if it's your parent or if it's your neighbor. You should always be trying to help, to the best of your own ability, and you shouldn't be judging somebody because they didn't they didn't they couldn't But there's literally a bare minimum of love that we can give to each other that we don't. And that's in your control, but you can't control what other people give to you. So you have to say, okay, well, if this isn't something that's consistently coming to me, or the out the stuff that's out of my control isn't consistent, then you have to think about ways that are in control, like your mindset. Hey, I know this person is a little wishy-washy, so I know that when I get around them, I cannot let myself love, like, get too deep into their the romanticism of it all, because you know that once that happens, this is when you can start to lose your control, because you start to give it to other people. You get me? So, like, for example, I can go play a game and I'll be fine by myself. But if I start playing a game with somebody else, then I'll start wanting to play with that person. And so if I don't have that person, that kind of makes the games not as much fun. So if I had that problem, I might just stay only to playing with myself, or I'll have a reminder like, hey, you like this game because you like it, not because other people like it. It makes it more fun when you play with other people, but you're still choosing to do it, and that's where you should get your enjoyment from, because it's something you care about. Not because, oh, like, the homie gonna hop on, or something like that. Yeah, it's fun to play with, your friends and stuff like that, but why are you really doing it? Do you want to play the game, or do you just miss your friends, and this is the easiest way for you to socialize with them? You know, you have to think about the mindset of it all. So, what's in your control, what's out of your control. Don't have a car right now, so you look for a job online, because you know that it's hard for you to basically get up and go catch a bus for 2 hours or an hour and a half, and then come back, catch the bus again, hour and a half. So now that's 2 hours you on a bus, and you was just at work for 8. So you're at 10 hours on a bus. Your day's already gone. Like, stuff like that, you have to balance it, because if you let it get out of your control, it'll start to really harm you. And nobody will understand why you feel the way you do, because remember, it's all inside. This isn't something that can be seen by other people. There are impulses that can be viewed from outside looking in, but nobody really knows why you feel the way you do. So they'll accuse you, torment you, belittle you, and it doesn't feel good, and you feel like they don't care. But I would go so far to just say, you shouldn't focus on whether somebody cares or somebody doesn't care. It's much easier to just keep people at a distance. Um, you know who you care about. And if you care about things or something, then that should be where the importance is, because this is your mind. So if you don't care about the news, but you care about, helping feeding the homeless or something, then you can literally delegate your time to those things and put the other stuff on, I don't want to say the back burner, but you can prioritize what you care about in life. So, what other people think of me, you know, publicly, it's like, oh, I don't care what people think. I don't care what people think, but when you constantly hear somebody creating the same narrative, You may not care what they think about you, but you damn sure care what the people, they're telling think about you. Just for the simple fact of, doesn't take that much to spread a rumor. And people pay to get stories shut off. People pay so that negative things don't come out, or or things that aren't true blow up into bullshit, like the Will Smith slap thing. Something is not right when you can literally see people in pain, and the other party, Jada, is kind of just not doing damage control, but like she's there for the ride of it. But her knowing when to say something or not to say something is literally the thing that she'll use to benefit herself. Excuse me. So when you don't have much going for yourself, this isn't just for women. This is for men too. This is for people that are miserable. This is for people that are jealous, and they are, my ex used to say, contrated in the mind. So basically, like, you're not thinking straight because you're already stressed. You're already, going through so much stuff, and you basically have to literally piece by piece check yourself and make sure that, hey, I know what I believe in. I know what I've seen. This is my life. I've experienced the things that you wanted me to experience. I've experienced the things that other people wanted me to experience. So, at the end of the day, it's really about what you want to experience and how your experience reflects on the world. So, if you think that people are always negative towards you, then you might be negative towards people all the time. Because it's like the saying, hurt people hurt people. You think that somebody thinks you're stupid. So just that thought is like, well, you're kind of like, why would somebody just think somebody's stupid? And then it's like, well, they think I'm stupid because I made a mistake. Well, why'd you make that mistake? And then you go, well, they don't know why I made that mistake because they don't care. So I think they're the stupid people. And then it just keeps going down from there. How I speak to myself. Speaking to myself kind of feels like a sloth. You want to move faster, and he's not gonna move faster than he doesn't feel is like I guess safe. Like he's not gonna go faster than you should. Like he's literally your protection, I would say, or what feels to be your protection. Like when you speak to yourself, that's supposed to be the that voice that is divine to you. That's like, everybody else may doubt me. Like it may feel like everybody else in this world doubts me, but I have myself. I know I know that my beliefs, are important to me. Um, it's like a I don't want to. I guess I would compare it to like a right from God, or like it's like something instilled in you. And if you're not speaking, if that voice is not speaking to you in a positive manner, that's literally where the problems come from. Because if you're not even believing in yourself now, there's so much outside influence, or there's so much going on around you inside your feelings, that you start speaking negative to yourself, or you start telling yourself you can't do it, or you just can't become motivated by something. And I see this in a lot of parents. And it's honestly, I used to get so upset about it, like recently too. Like, why do you, like, why do you, why is it so easy for you not to see what I see? And, different, I don't have the answer to that. I can just say that once you know, hey, these people are just like you, and once you can just have a little bit of empathy, once you can feel how other people feel, like, that's the problem. When you have all these people that are homeless, you got people that don't want that ain't never been homeless a day in their life, ain't never been sick, like mentally sick or mentally ill, and nobody, it's a small thing. It's not tiny, but it's not the majority of people in this world. So when you have a capitalistic country that profits off of the people that are number one, and not the people that are the most just or fair, then you're always gonna have that economic instability, because you're not the best, and you're defined by being the best in your market, as that's the market leader, and that's who makes the rules. So you have to speak to yourself, and determine how you can work through the issues that you have, so that you can be a productive member of society. Because what good is it going to work all day, you get a check, but you're so damn stressed out that you're still not being productive. Like, you're going to work, but you're not doing anything to help your future, or you're not getting enough to do anything to really help your future. So you're spending all this time going to work and working for other people, and what are you really getting out of it? I mean, I don't want to call it slavery, because you're getting a paycheck. So it's it's like, well, I guess I'd rather do this than just sit at home. But when you're sitting at home, you're actually able to think. You're actually able to create. You're actually able to really be your true self. You don't have to go and be somebody else, because that's what the company's mission is. And when you care about your own mental well-being, um, that's what you'll start to realize, that money shit. I could be homeless. I would. It's not gonna, like, my beliefs are my beliefs. You can't change certain things about people. You have to accept them. You have to love them for it. It is only when you don't get that love where people feel radicalized and extreme. When you feel like you're being laughed at in front of your face. When you feel like you're talking but no one's listening. Those are things that you know are in your control. You can't force people to listen to you. But what's in your control is going places to where maybe you'll be more receptive. Maybe people will be more receptive to what you're saying. Nobody said you gotta go be around people that don't enjoy your views. People like going to shop. People like going to shop, so they're gonna go be with people that like shopping. It's not their fault. They have like they like what they like. Now, what becomes a problem is when you start judging other people because of what they like or what they choose to do with their selves. Um, Guided they're not hurting other people in the process. Like, shouldn't be giving crack to people. Shouldn't be giving guns to people. You shouldn't be teaching people how to be misogynistic, or you shouldn't be teaching people how to basically cut food or cut medicine so that you get more dosage using less good product. There's numerous things like just having a basic set of principles and morals that you care about. It could be the Bible, could be the Quran, could be anything. There's so many different teachings that try and get people to be humble. I don't want to say sheep, but we don't need wolves in this world. Like, you ever been around somebody that's just always on edge, always upset, always grumpy? Like, that's how people like will view you. If you like let your emotions and you let your feelings, you know, out, and you don't do it in a way that is positive, you'll start to look like, or you'll start to even feel like you're becoming radicalized. And speaking from personal experience, that's literally the opposite of what I want in life. I wanted to be surrounded by people that loved me, um, particularly my family, friends that I grew up with. I wanted to start businesses with them. Um, I wanted to basically help expand their businesses and ideas, but that's hard. People don't always believe in themselves, and when you need people to believe in themselves, or you want them to believe in themselves, so that it's like, we got this. We can do this together, because if I slip up, I know that you got me. You slip up, I got you. Um, it becomes hard because people don't like to be held accountable, and you know, I gotta say, I'm no better than anybody else, and it hurts me to say that. And I'm trying to be less hurt by saying that. Like, honestly, don't nobody like being told they shit, stink. But I've learning that my shit stinks, I could find what my shit is. And I could start, disposing of it the correct way. I, okay, you think this about me? You know what? Hey, that's your opinion. I ain't got to fight you on it. Do what you want. Feel how you want. Because at the end of the day, by me trying to force you and try and convince you that I'm not like that, it's literally just probably gonna make you think that I'm more and more, controlling, because now you're gonna be trying to control the situation. Like, oh, they think I'm this, they think I'm that, so I have to do this to, no. If somebody feels a certain type of way about you, just work in the shadows, work in the silence, work doing what you love. Don't give any energy to anybody that is not, there, we feel is not there to support you, or, their support always comes with strings attached, because that's a challenge that's going to come through your life. You know, who are the people that are in my life that I'm willing to allow be in my life? You that's the tricky part about, what you can control and what you can't control. You can have friends, but if, the friends that you have aren't really aligned to you, they're just people that you kind of met growing up or something like that, then you guys have different goals and you guys have different wants. And what you may want may be something that, the other person didn't need growing up. So they don't have that same want. They have different passions and different pleasures. So you might be trying to get your shit together while they're trying to, go on dates, or uh, they're trying to go on vacations. They're trying to, they want to go and go to different countries. But, you're getting upset at them because I just sat on my bullet. Because they go to different countries, and you're like, damn, dude, why you always spending money on all these other countries, but you don't ever spend money on your family? Like, you don't ever help your family out. You don't help them start businesses so that they can go on the countries with you, and you don't always got to pay for shit. Like, to all these, honestly, like, this is something that really grinds my gears, and I'm learning to just align yourself with people that want to help you. And you'll know when somebody wants to help you because you don't have to ask them for things. Honestly, like, hey, what you got going on? Oh, I create content. I make videos and stuff. Oh, cool. What kind of videos you make? Oh, I make comedy videos. Oh, that's dope. Um, did you see this one? Oh yeah, I seen a little bunny that was jumping out of the hat, and then when he jumped out the hat, something funny happened. Basically you can start to see, okay, well, they got a little, like, they're interested. You can see when people are interested in what you have to say, or you try and show somebody something like, hey, look, there's this cool technology. It'll it'll help you make lists, or it'll help you basically, it'll teach you how to do something new. And they're just like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're doing. Like, what is this? Why are you, like, you care about this, not me? Like, when you get those vibes, those are the people that you want to stay away from. Honestly, because you have tried, like, that's not the type of person that works with you. Because you're gonna keep trying to you're gonna keep trying to give these people your energy or your ideas, because you know that, like, hey, if I just had help from somebody, like, we'd probably be able to do a lot together. But, you know, that's also a double-edged sword, because you don't know what that other person is thinking. So, I may be feeling like I want my business to go this direction, but they they don't. Like, they're not worried about what I care about as much. They're worried about remembering their own passions and pleasures. They're worried about, smashing as many chicks in the world as possible, or and I'm that literally is the thing that's on so many people's minds. I can't even just say guys. Women are so modern, I'll say, if that is the correct label to attach to it. We are more equal now than ever before. If we're going by dating standards, I'll say the women are winning a bit more. It feels like, um, but you know, this is just I woke up and I try. I looked at this when I woke up because hey, I wanna learn how to start giving my energy towards positive things and things I actually love. And why would I water a plant that doesn't love me? Like, why would I water something that is gonna hurt me in the long term versus you know giving into something that loves me and makes me feel good. You should never give up something that you know works for you, but other people are saying, "Oh, no, 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 no," because if you're honestly looking at it from an unbiased opinion, which is very hard, but I would say try and put yourself into the position and views of the other person. Like, hey, why do they think I'm lazy? Well, they think you're lazy because you haven't had a job in a year. You haven't had a job in 2 years. You sit at home and you play video games, or you know, you see like, oh, well, when they say these things, I can see that the perception of me is this, when in actuality, that's not it, but that's how they view you. So you have to realize that that's not in your control. If people think that you're just boo boo the fool and you just don't want better for yourself, or you just you know are I don't want to say a failure, but if they just don't have pleasant thoughts towards you, just stop giving them your time. Literally, don't. I would go so far as to say avoid them as the plague. When you see them coming, you go the opposite way. Like, if I'm in one room and if I want to avoid somebody, I'll wait until they're done doing whatever it is they're done doing. I will starve myself, literally, if it means I don't have to be in front of that person. Because for what? Why would I ever want to be around somebody that makes me feel like shit all the time? It's not a good feeling. And then they go and manipulate the situation, and it's like, hey, I didn't do that. Or I didn't say, like, that's not what we're like. Huh? And you get confused, and you know, a lot of people that have mental health issues and feel like they're not heard. They it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to constantly be berated by people's negative opinions of you. So you have to think about, hey, I got these boundaries. I know what I mean to myself. I know what these people mean to me internally. It doesn't matter what I mean to them, but what they mean to me, and whether or not these relationships are important enough to keep enduring this pain, or whether or not you should let go of these relationships so that you can grow and you can heal and you can, flourish and thrive. Because at the end of the day, the same people telling you you're a failure and you ain't, squat and all this other stuff, once you make it, they're not gonna say, "Oh, like, I'm sorry, I was wrong." They're gonna be like, "Oh, well, you should have did that. You should have did this." Like, the narrative is gonna change. Well, you should have known that. You should have did this. So if you're trying to do something to please anybody else, you working so hard because you want others to see your glory and your admiration for hard work, and it just burns you out because you're so focused on that. You're doing yourself more harm than good. It's just, you know, it's not that you don't care. And I had this growing up, a big problem. I was told I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't care. When you get told you don't care, you start to feel like those people don't care about you. And that's a slippery slope because then you'll start to not care about them. Just it's like a transitive property. A plus B equals C, so B plus C equals A. It's literally, I hope I said that right. Like, you start here and you go here, like the end result is literally from the start. So I'm rambling even more, but I just hope that we as people that have to go through things others don't necessarily go through day to day. Um, I hope you're trying to make your life a little bit less hell or hellfire than is in there because it's tough. Uh, the person I can't stand is also the person that I grasp so much intelligence from. And it's like, dang, like, how did you teach me this, but you don't see how you fucked up? And you think you think that the only thing I should do is be grateful for you. It's a cop out for bad parenting, honestly, or for their bad behavior and what they showed you, and there's no excuse for it. But I can just say if you're being taught, just specifically for example, like the sleeping around shit is nonsense. If y'all got somebody in a relationship and they make you happy, this is I'm not trying to be too specific, but like you got something that's working for you. Know when like know when you're in bliss, know when you're happy. Be able to spot it. Don't be so used to being, doing something a certain type of way or oh, this is what guys do. This is what my pops did. This is, pops was a Rolling Stone, so I'm gonna go be like that's all I know. I would implore you to try and step out of that circle. Try and not be around the people that are always in your ears telling you you're right. Because when you're around people that are always telling you you're right, they gotta be wrong. I don't care how intelligent I think I am. Like, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes every damn day. I probably make mistakes every like 15, 20 minutes, honestly. But should I be basically destroyed, decimated, going to manic depression and episodes and all this other stuff because how others make me feel? Hell no. I'm not raping nobody or fucking like killing anyone. I'm not like abusing freaking, children and doing all this other shit. Like, I don't sell drugs to people. I don't. No. I'm literally a better person than a lot of people. I'm not the best person, but I know damn sure I'm not doing harm. Like, I'm not trying to cause more harm than good in this world. And I think that's what the bottom line comes down to. Are you doing things that hurt other people? Are you hurting your son? Are you hurting your daughter? Are you hurting your mother? Are you hurting your father? Because I'll be honest, when you feel this way, you start to care less and less about hurting other people because you know that it's the boundaries thing. It's like, well, they're setting their boundaries in the stand, like they're drawing their line in the sand of what they believe about you. So now you draw your line in the sand, and you guys go to war, and only the strong survive that war. So it's either you're gonna keep your views, or they're gonna keep their views, and then once the outcome is the outcome, you go from there. It's like I was either right or I was either wrong, and for my sake, I can't afford to be wrong. So I've looked at all the angles. I researched different angles religiously. That's my religion. That's what I care about. How can I be a better person so I'm making sure that I'm not hurting other people in this world? That's my North Star. Because everybody in my life seems like they'd rather often be with, themselves. Like they'd rather, they're so hurt that they would rather not engage with other people that have differences of opinions than them because they feel like they'll be hurt and criticized in a way that is not to help them. Like people aren't used to trying to get better and bettering themselves. Uh, and it doesn't just have to be mental. It can be physical. It's what you care about. You don't have to go and oh, they don't work out a lot. They're fat. Like, well, I'm sorry. They don't have to be a bodybuilder. That's not what they care about. Or if they're healthy, if they are, productive, if they care about, issues that are, happening in the world, if there are things that they're trying to change or they're trying to, figure out, that's literally a part of growth. And you don't know yourself until you've been through some shit, honestly. Because I grew up like, oh, I'm never gonna smoke weed. I don't like it. I want to be a cop. I want to be a bus driver. All these things that I didn't want to do, but that's what you're. That's what is ingrained into you. We're molded as a child, and this is what I really don't like about men is we'll control everything, every last single piece of information we will try and control so that what we want is the expected outcome, and by doing so we have kids and they're raised off of goals, not love. So when I went to the Marine Corps and I came back because I would get migraines, and I was just generally stressed, and I was in a relationship just shipped, and it was just so much shit going on, and I was 17, 19, something like that. I never experienced a fucking lick of life, damn, like, adult life. because I was trying to do so good. I was trying, okay, well, I can't get into no trouble because if I get into trouble, then I can't do this. When, some people learn by experience. Some people don't learn from being told things. As much as you want to tell somebody, you can talk to somebody till they're blue in the face. Blue in the face. It'll irritate the hell out of both of y'all. But if you don't understand that we are creatures, it only took me one time getting shot to learn that there are some houses you just don't need to be at. Simple as that. I mean, doesn't matter if it's white, black, Mexican, but you'll see as you get older, that's where you get that taste for life. Where it's an acquired taste. Like you learn life. You don't just, oh, I'm 18 so I know everything. Or, oh, he's 18 so he should be grown. He should be as wise as somebody as his parents. And the messed up part is we do have a lot of knowledge instilled from our parents around that age, but we just know, we don't know why. And when you're not told why, but you're just told to do, and it doesn't make sense, you have to make sense of it. And so, what do you think happens? You explore, you experiment, you live life. And while you're doing that, everybody around you that, has tried to instill these values in you, because I don't, there are some really shit fucking evil people in the world. Yeah, I mean, scumbag piece of shit, sell your fucking kids off to trafficking and shit like that type of evil. But it's more so people's views that they're trying to instill of you. When you don't accept those views, or you feel like, well, why should I listen to you? You're kind of a hypocrite. They mean right, but they don't do it themselves, so it's not going to be something that maybe you respect them for. It's like, wait. So you're upset because I do this, but you do all these other things, and it's like, well, you should be better than me. How does that feel? You should be better than me. Honestly, when you're telling somebody, when you're basically scolding somebody and you're telling them they should be better than you, but you feel like they should have done better by you. So you have to be mindful of your feelings, because if you're not, you're just gonna become bitter, grow old, and you're gonna start, you're gonna remove yourself from these people. Honestly. You're gonna go spread your word to the people that are listening. And you will soon surely forget about those people. They will be a distant memory. I don't want to say completely forget, but they'll be a memory. Is that to say that I don't think about the good times that I had with, certain people in my life? No, I can't say that. But I do feel like those good times in my life are tainted because they feel like they were just coming from power and influence. They were just coming from trying to align somebody to your side, your loyalty. They're like, it was all just a means to get you against the other team. And that's what I don't like about, you know, parental family, issues. The the offspring, the child, the boy turning to adult, trying to be a grown man to a senior, a grown man to a grandpa. Half of us never even had grandfathers. Growing up, like they were even worse than our fathers. Straight up. But your daddy would never tell you that because that's just not the time. That's not the societal generation that we come from or that they came from. They figured that by keeping secrets in, by holding all this bad blood inside your heart, or they're just like that. You're enabling these people with power, or these figureheads in your life, like the elders in your life. um and I don't like calling people evil. I really don't. um it's like selfishness, and when you're from being just from a position of power, like, oh, you're a dad, you have kids, so they're your allegiance. Your wife is your allegiance. You might have a brother, they'd be your allegiance. And when you're just one kid saying, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, you can quickly see how you might be kicked out of the family by saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So that's what people will do. They will push you out if you do not conform to what they want. I don't think it's fair. I think love should be unconditional, but maybe that's the biggest thing that is instilled to us that's actually a lie, because I mean, is anything really unconditional? Like, even mothers will manipulate, you know, their kids so that they feel like they'll have, more power than what they actually do. And as kids, all we know is them, so we think that they are the power. We think that they are the saving grace. We think that they are the superheroes. We think that they are the Wonder Womans. We think that they are these incredible people, when in reality they are freaking just like us, except worse, because they're literally the past. You're literally supposed to be better than them. But it's hard, because how can you be better than somebody when you've never seen, like, you've only seen poor examples? Like, you've only seen a man that is a police officer that is black hang around hood people, and hang around people that are just like they hang around people that more are like the people they arrest than they hang around people that are like them. Does that make sense? You have black police officers that have more hood friends than actual, like, cop friends. How does that make sense? Well, it's because these cops, they understand that they have money, they have knowledge, and they're smart enough. They're just smart enough to get into that field without saying the wrong things so that they can have that life. Now, does it make it right? Because you're basically incarcerating your friends. Like, you're literally incarcerating, like, your homie might be homies with this person. But y'all cool, but he don't got a cop friend, so he goes to jail. Not specifically like that, because that's like some like conspiracy like theory type shit. But like, I guarantee you, the person who has the cop friend understands a little bit better than the person who doesn't have that cop friend how to act around cops, how to conduct themselves around cops, how to talk when they are in hot water. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, when you have resources that another person that is just the same as you has, there's only so far you can go. So when you start calling out the people with these resources, what do you think happens? Well, you better have some resources of your own. Or you better go be able to find some fucking resources. Because if you don't, you will be fucking buried alive. You will be told you're wrong. You will be told everything that you care about is a lie, basically, in order to fit their narrative. Because they have the money and they have the resources, they have the intelligence. They can literally strip you if you let them. And the first instance of this, to stop it from happening, is to understand who you are as a person, what you care about as a person, what's inside you. Hey, I know that I shouldn't feel like this when people talk to me. I know that they shouldn't be making, like, I know that I feel good when I'm on my own or when I'm by myself, but as soon as somebody opens their mouth, to speak on my life, that they have no idea what it's like to be me, like, because you've learned your whole life, oh, this is how people act, this is how people act, this is how people act, but you realize I don't really quite act like that. I kind of act like this minority group. Like, maybe I'm a little bit, I don't want to say slower, but maybe I learn a little bit slower than the next person. And you only learn that, through growing up. We go through high school, so much of it is just going through high school. It's not really, oh, you got to get good grades. Like, that shit slaps you in high school where, okay, now if you don't get good grades, you don't graduate. Versus, it's a shock to the system. You find yourself, around high school time, around graduation, if you're not particularly good at getting good grades, it's like, well, I've always known school was something that you should care about. But I've just been, I've been schooling it like this forever. So, I've been getting through school without, the help and guidance of your parents. I've been, learning all this stuff, just kind of halfway learning it, not really learning, the full parts of it. But I know enough to get, just by the bare minimum. When you go to high school, or when you're, it's time for you to graduate, it's either pass or fail at the end. It's like, are you getting those credits or you're not? And if, you're not used to trying to, if you don't care about getting a goal, or you don't care about what they care about, you didn't work, you didn't study all your life through high school and stuff like that. Like, So you realize that you're trying to graduate last minute now, basically. And so now you're trying to do 18 years worth, 17 years worth of work, by yourself. And I'm speaking personally from experience. This is my story. I grew up that I wanted to be a police officer, you know, and I'll say that I just want to be able to help people. I don't want to arrest people. I don't want to put people in jail. Um, why would I want to do that? You know what? You know what it feels like to lose your freedom, to not be able to do something, or feel like you can't do something because how others would even view you. Like, like, you know, uh, the child that grows up and he from a black household, he's raised on, basically the glorification of men are better than women. Um, they're superior to them. A woman should be at a guy's beck and call. Um, if that bitch don't listen, then fuck her. Women are a dime a dozen. If you're taught all these things growing up and you're raised by a woman, and that woman isn't even fucking, defending her own gender, what do you think you're gonna feel about women? Like, what do you think you're being taught about women by these men? I'm sorry, it's a truck going off, but honestly, like, I feel like I, you know, I love women, but I feel like I should respect them a whole lot more. And sometimes I let my anger and my frustration at some of these groups get a hold of me, and that's wrong. That's something I'm trying to work on. But it comes from other things too. So you have to try and be less judgmental because everybody's going through something. If only you would have some compassion, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to get through that thing, and then maybe your thing will be easier to get through. This whole time I've only learned, you got to work together. Great countries don't become great by themselves. Like, you have to have somebody backing you. So when you're dating this is for women. When you women are dating these men that would rather be doing other things, but they're only with you when, it's time to take your clothes off, I would highly like refer you, like I would highly recommend you, like, try and look up some books, like read on how, like, you should, how empowering yourself can help you, because it sucks to be a product of somebody that was victimized by a man. How can I how can you be better than what you were multiplied by, if that makes sense? Because negativity is so powerful. This whole conversation, the connotation is probably slightly negative, and I don't want it to be that. I want this to be positive. Um, I'm sure it's, a little depressing, disheartening, but this is how I feel like the world's, well, certain things in the world have become, the things that are in my control. I feel like, I love my country. There are only so many things that you can give your entertainment to and your value. And while some people may care about religion, some people may care about space, science. Um, what do you care about? What is it that makes you stay up at night? Because that's your business. That's what you care about. And for other people to, tell you, oh, you shouldn't care about that, is wrong. This is the 21st century. The answer is not to go work for somebody else. The answer is not to go work all and give all your time away so that when you get home, you're bitter, you're you struggling, you damn near struggling the same amount as somebody that don't even work. Like, it's sad. It's sad. I got cousins work fucking all damn week. They ain't even fucking like that. What do they have? They damn sure don't have more than me. It's maybe, oh, they get a car, but all the fuck they do is use the car to go to work. How? What? So people will tell me I'm wrong for feeling the way I do, or I'm entitled for feeling the way I do, but it's not entitlement. It's logic. It's literally, why would I go do that when that's literally a worse alternative to try and sit down and figure it out so that I'll be happy in life? Because when you keep going and getting these jobs, you keep getting these paychecks. Yeah, they're paychecks, but all they are paychecks for you to go buy shit. When are you going to buy something that matters? If that's what it is, if that's your excuse, you work so hard, okay, so buy something that matters if you work so hard. Don't go and buy some shit that, doesn't help your life. People will give you so much stuff for smoking cigarettes or smoking, for doing things that pleasure you, when that's your decision. If you feel like it helps you, granted, you're not fucking turning into a goddamn like meth head. Like, you're not stealing. You're not you're not breaking them fucking windows like male with fucking coke on your nose. Like, you're still trying to become a productive part of society, but you're trying to do it in your way. I'm not going to fault you for that. You should not be faulted for that. That is what freedom is. But you have these generations of family that have been told shut the fuck up by the men in their lives. You got, all these women that, push out the men in their household, so then you just got nothing but a house full of women. And these women, how do they get their money? I'm not gonna answer that. I'm not, because I'm. My goal is not to make women look bad. It's not to make men look bad. It is just to shed light on the things that are happening that I see that nobody seems like are talking about. And I love this more than playing the game. That's one thing I could say. Like, I like playing the game, but if I can help somebody, like if I can truly help somebody, make them feel a little less like shit, why wouldn't I? Why is that not my like civic duty? Why is that not my divine right to try and help somebody feel better? But I would be told growing up not to post certain things, not to say this, not to do that. When I'm 27 years old and the things that I've learned have only been reinstilled and reinforced into me to like, hey, nah, you are right. Because the people that are telling you you're wrong, where are they? All these, temporary ass people, where are they? They're working, kissing ass. Now, let me be clear. You don't get to the next level of management. You don't become a detective. You don't become a sheriff or a lieutenant from doing good work. You do that shit because you know people. You get positions of power 9 times out of 10 in America because you know people. You get these jobs because they like you. Merits only get you so far in this world. Hey, I feel like my book smarts are, compared to the people that I grew up with, I feel like I'm average at best when it comes to books and shit like that, math, education, stuff like that. But when it comes to philosophy, I think that's something totally different. The way we view the world, the way we engage with others, the way we act as a society and as a family and as a state, as a community, what we give our money to, the corporations, all that stuff trickles down to the household, to what you're teaching your son and your daughter. I mean, I've probably repeated myself about 1,000 times by now. It's tiring. It can be very tiring to just want people to believe in what is the best way to go about trying to give people equality, trying to be fair, and making sure that, okay, it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're not hardworking. It's not because they just want to sit at home and, they're doing nothing. Uh, not to get too off topic, but Lil Wayne said real G's move in silence like lasagna. How do you know what I'm doing when I'm quiet? The most quiet people are the people that change the world. How would you feel if you had an Einstein, or you had a Plato or Socrates, you had Elon Musk in your household, but you yourself blew those embers out? You blew away the spark that would have changed your family's life forever. You'd be devastated. I don't care what you say. You would be devastated if you realized that you were the cause of your family's problems. You weren't heard. Like you chose not to hear, your wife telling you, hey, you're not helping. Like, hey, like this isn't working. I don't like this. I don't like when you. Why do you have to talk to me like that? Why can't you hear me? Why can't you speak? Like, why can't you listen to what I'm saying? And it's like, well, I am listening to what you're saying. I did hear you. That doesn't make it like that doesn't make what you're doing right. And so when you're with people that have different beliefs than you, if you get stuck on certain things that you cannot, uh, can't come to agreements on, then that's when it's time to set your boundaries, shake hands, and go the opposite way. Because if you don't, that's when all this abuse and shit starts happening. That's when people start getting physically and violently, fucking mentally, abused. They feel like, well, she just doesn't listen to me. She does. Nobody ever wants to, like, she's not listening. She's not listening. Now I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting more frustrated. No, she's still going on. She won't shut up. Like, you know, that's not right. You shouldn't be. You should not be telling somebody to shut up in a conversation. Why is that boundary not respected between both of you guys, where it's like, okay, this argument is obviously getting to that point where it does not need to be anymore. And I literally have went through this. So I'm telling, I'm 27. I'm telling people that still are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old that have yet to even be in a real relationship, how this will be. Because, yeah, I knew that, my parents, they had arguments and they, were abused by each other, one physically, the other mentally, like, well, both of them mentally, like, when all the other hardships of growing up, having to deal with taking one person to, having to deal with raising kids while the other person goes to work and doesn't see their kids, the trauma of that, the trauma of, having to fucking raise kids on your own. I can see how that shit hurts. But that does not give you an excuse to not do what it takes to make sure that your kids are literally sufficient enough to be productive adults. I'm sorry. Because if we tolerate that, then we're tolerating the downfall of our whole society. Literally, like, I would be called crazy. Literally. I would be called crazy for talking about topics like this before. Just because people don't want what they've done in the past to be learned from. How ignorant is that? Honestly. How juvenile, how selfish is it that you would rather other people make mistakes, the same exact mistakes you made, because you can't, judge them a little bit less. You can't try and think about what they care about, or why they think about certain things. Like, my mom's mother, for the longest, parents, you smoke weed, you smoke weed, you smoke weed, you smoke weed. Like, oh my gosh. If I didn't smoke weed, like, I gotta be perfect in this world. Like, damn, like, everybody, your family, your friends, they all smoke weed. Oh, well, why you gotta be like them? Why you gotta always be around them? Did they ever think about that? Did they ever think about, my son might be developing secondhand, like, they literally might be getting sick off of being around this shit, and I'm around, like, just how they act, how they act towards people that, aren't like them. Like, you hang around these people that smoke, but you talk shit about them when you get, away from them. You talk about how they can't control their temper and they can't control all this other stuff. What? Why in the hell would you be around those people? And you don't even smoke. Why in the hell would you choose to engage with these type of people? And it's because, it's so much easier to point the finger at people you see, everybody else pointing the finger at. Like, black people will be seen as the scum of the earth. Let, white people tell it, or let the, Catholic Church and Christians tell it, like, literally. Like, we call fucking people terrorists because they want to defend their homeland. It's fucked up, man. It's just a cold world, and caring about how you look to the outside world has only ever, in my experience, made you a fake person. If you're not acting off of your own beliefs and what you feel, if you're just doing shit because you feel like, oh, this is what's accepted, not, no, I stand up for what's right. I stand up for what I believe in. You're not helping create the world a better democracy. You're not helping the world, thrive. You're tainting it with your own selfish views that don't, think about the consequences that it has on other people. Like, I would fucking love to have a kid right now. I would love to be a father, to raise a kid, like, to have something that I love unconditionally, that I like, nothing greater than this world. But I know that the way I was raised, the fact that you could just give up on somebody that you supposedly loved and tell them they're the problem, cut them off completely because you think that they're going to understand, you think that they'll be the one to come around to, oh, they were doing bad. Nah, man. You're gonna have the wake up call when you realize you're 80 years old and you just, for what? You just gave up your son. You just gave up your stepson. You gave up, the person that literally thought of you like a fucking god. It's not right. The unloyalty that a parent can have on their child, that should be against the law. You should not be able to be a police officer if you cannot see how your own child feels. You can't understand how your own people feel, but you can go take somebody else's freedom away? Because I'd be thrown in a loony bin for feeling these ways. I'd be incarcerated for feeling so strongly about the way I do. I'd be silenced, ignored for feeling these ways. Over weed. Not because I'm a gang member, which I'm not. Not because I want to go roam the streets, which I don't. It's never been something I enjoy doing, honestly. And that's why I never really did it. Like, I go out maybe like once a fucking year, twice a year. Because I seen what my stepdad would do. I seen the lies he would tell. You don't. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't still love him. I don't wish that he didn't do things differently. But I have to accept the fact that he taught me well enough to know that I can't force anybody to be anywhere they don't want to be. And if you choose to disown your own son off of, things that they I chose him over my own father fucking 9 times out of 10 growing up. So for me to tell you one thing that you did wrong to me, how you didn't help me get a job, but you told everybody you did, how how I told you I felt like I tried tooth and nail to fucking get that job, how I went to the interviews, how I was following up, but you go and tell my mother, you go and tell everybody else, no, I didn't. I don't know what my problem is. I just want to smoke and sell drugs to people. When I got into this little phase where, I actually stopped feeling support from the people I thought I would have support from. So I went to the cops' friends, the hood people. The fucking people who glorify fucking gang life. Who wear all the big fucking chains and baggy clothes that want to look a certain type of way. And I started inquiring on that shit because I'm like, well, the fucking police officer who makes money doesn't want to help me out. I'm a security guard right now. Like, and I'm struggling. Like, I got a job, but I'm trying to do better than what I can. But nobody's helping me doing better than what I can. I'm getting taxed by my fucking mom. Like, nobody's telling her ass she's fucking wrong for this shit. But she was fucking fine. She's still doing fine. I ain't paid her fucking rent in I don't know how long. Still doing fine. Whereas if I was doing what I had wanted with that money I'd be fucking out of this house in my own shit. I'd have saved up enough money by now that I literally would be fucking able to help my mother. But she didn't believe in me because she listened to everybody else. She couldn't sacrifice her immediate glorification and her immediate profits to make sure that she fucking gave her own son a fighting chance in this world. But I'll be the victim. I'll keep, I'll take that. You can tell everybody I'm the victim. That I just want to feel like the victim. Because you got the power. You got all the people that believe in you. You're the sweet lady that doesn't have I'm a fucking god shit. You don't do that, right? You see me rolling my eyes because it's bullshit. Like, people that can delay their emotions and hide them, those are the manipulators. Because if you truly cared about something, you're not going to be able to stay quiet about it. She couldn't stay quiet about my fucking birth father beating her and shit like that. Like, she couldn't stay quiet about shit like that. What the fuck? Because it's wrong. That shit should not be happening. And then when you have a son who puts his hand on women, it's like, I know I'm not supposed to be putting my hands on another person, let alone a female. Do you know how that makes me feel? Like, how little? To think that I would go and hurt another woman the way that my mother was hurt? That shit's not right, man. And it's because we have fucking men like these cops that fucking go into your lives and they don't give a fuck. They're able to manipulate you. They know so much more than you even think you know. And it's sad what it does to the mother and the son. It's incredible how... I don't want to call anybody stupid, but... I won't have kids and let the world turn my kids against me. I won't do it. I refuse. Because I know that I'm not perfect. I know that the way that I talk the way that I feel does not give me a right to talk the way that I do, to blow up, and it's very difficult to fix when you're constantly going through those stressful scenarios. You know, when I was away from my mother and when I was with my ex, I could start to see when, because growing up, I was only around every two, three people: my mother, my sister, or my dad or my stepdad. Like four people. I was literally only around them growing up, so I never knew, how other people really acted in such an intimate setting. So, when you go and live with somebody else and their parents are you live with somebody and you see not your mother every day, but you see somebody else's mother every day, and you see the type of love that they give their kid. It doesn't make you jealous, but it just makes you it makes you appreciate how firm a believer that mother is in her child. Like my ex's mother, like she may not have, she may have had her own views and opinions, but one thing you wasn't gonna do is turn her against her own. Whereas I feel like maybe this is because they're from not a first world country. They're closely they're knitted, so close, and they've always been together. Whereas I don't want to just I was kind of like, you get passed back and forth between people when you don't live in when you have multiple people calling themselves parent, or trying to be that role. It's a very confusing thing to go through, and you don't even know when it's really occurring. You're just kind of going through it. You know. You know. Um, I believe I'll figure it out. In fact, I know I'll figure it out. Just what I don't know is when. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to figure it out. And I don't know how much time I have left to figure it out. Before I end up, dropping from this world. But to sit up here and tell people that, the way you feel is wrong, or that you have differences of opinion, so that means you don't love the people you've spent your whole life trying to figure out how to get them to enjoy just the things that they've never even been able to have. Like when you want to try and provide these things for people that they've never even had, and you're trying to figure out a solution, but they can't even be bothered, or it feels like they just doubt you, because it's like, why do you dream so big? Well, it's because you always told me to dream big. You know, just if you try and interact with people, and it's like pulling hairs, it always ends up in an argument. You try and give them a book, you want them to read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, anything. Like, you try and just I highly advise you to figure out how to create change without being an adversary to somebody. And that goes for both parties. You know, it's much easier. It would be much easier for me to infiltrate my family, for me to act like they act so that I can spread my message and my word. But that goes against the manipulative nature of my stepdad and how I don't believe in that shit. How I feel like that is wrong and it makes people, you know, feel like they don't have a sense of grounding. So let me be clear. I don't hate anybody. I hate the things that were done. I hate how people are blind. I hate how you have people, if they just, literally, if they just cared a little bit more, things like this wouldn't happen. And if we didn't give people in power jobs, you know, that delegate, like you shouldn't be able to be a police officer if your household isn't straight. Like simple as that. What business do you have taking somebody else's freedom when you're over there oppressing women? You got a daughter. You're teaching your daughter not to care about shit. You're teaching a woman. You're literally desensitizing a woman. Because she looks up so much to you because there are no other woman that she can look up to. So she looks up to a man. And she becomes cold, unforgiving. It's just, you would not believe it if I told you it would happen to you, or it could happen to you. You would not believe it. I didn't believe it. That just goes to show you how much we don't know. I'm not gonna say how dumb I was because I shouldn't talk like that. I'm learning that. I'm literally working on these things. That's how I know that I'm trying to be better versus the people that don't. That's how you know when you're getting better at stuff. And you shouldn't be focused on what they're doing. You should be focused on yourself. But if you do need a comparison, then think about it. You know, have you actively tried to, communicate with these people and you're kind of just like, well, yeah, I can tell they don't really fuck with me. So that's your answer. You know, it would be dope if there was a place where all of the kids, all the adults, you know, had that place that we can go. We could communicate. We can go share ideas. We can uplift each other. We can create value and love and prosperity and forget about these people. We can move on from them. Because while they're withering away in their misery, but they're telling, oh, they're it's all fine and dandy. So either you're crazy because you don't care about somebody you're dealing with, you spent so much time investing in, or you're a liar, or you just think that they're gonna snap out of it. But I'll tell you what, I'd be quicker to smoke weed again than go hit him up. I'd be quicker to go fucking smoke again than go ask anybody for help like them. How the fuck would I go ask them for help? I can't be science to please people that are doing me wrong anymore, but claiming to do me well. I refuse. I refuse. I would be fucking like Jesus on the street in a different land, still spreading the same shit, still spreading my word, still with my beliefs, because this is who I am. And you cannot change that. No matter how much you don't like it. Like, I was raised off of fucking Tupac, basically. Like, literally, fucking Tupac and Eminem. But you wonder why I'm coming at you like this, cop sir? Like, everything I've ever been taught was literally not to stand up for nonsense and shit that's not right. And you wonder why I love, love my niggas. Like, you wonder why I care about street culture. Not because I want to glorify it, but because I know that once we shed light on these things, once we get some people with money from the hood, and we get them to start doing shit that's not negative, once we start actually getting them to build businesses and investing in each other, they're going to soon realize, hey, we don't need to be on the streets doing these things. But when you have fucking cops glorifying fucking criminal activity when they're not being cops, then those friends are going to think like, oh yeah, I should just go out and sell drugs, and I should go out and I should, rock all these big ass chains instead of investing in businesses and starting in LLCs and all this other stuff. We literally have a contrite mind, to go back to that word. Like, come on now. But it's so much easier to say, oh, well, what are you doing? What are you doing about it? Why aren't you going to get help? Well, okay, you're right. Let me stop talking to you and let me start figuring out how the hell I can help this situation. Because I know I don't need to get fucking help like that. I'm not right in everything I fucking view, I'm sure. But I don't feel that I'm so radical that I cannot look at the other team's side and wonder, am I wrong or not? What am I wrong about? And how can I change those views so that I am more evenly aligned with the world and the people's views, so that we can all be happy together, or a little bit less miserable? But that gets ignored when you're just worried about the short term and numbers. You're worried about dollar signs and contributions. Who's gonna contribute to a household that feels like they're not putting back into their own? Honestly, Honestly, really. It would be so much easier to do what was required of me if I felt like I was supported. But that's an excuse, right? That's not logical to feel that way. All ungrateful is a word. It has negative feelings attached to it. But I didn't feel negative, like you got that negative shit was something that you guys create the atmosphere for. And when you have that atmosphere that you create, it's literally affecting yourself. It is a toxic thing. It just radiates more toxicity. Your views, your lack of compassion, your lack of empathy, your lack of acknowledging how hard things can be, how hard things could have been for you. You want your sons to be such good people. You want your daughters to be such good people, but you guys date and go deal with hookers, strippers, drug dealers, people that'll smile in front of your face, change their voice to make it seem like they're nicer than what they really are. Um, when you give your time to all this, for lack of a better term, fake stuff, you're not doing right by anybody or this world. You're making it a worse place. But I gotta go cook me some food. I'm about to make some eggs, some bacon, probably some grits. Yeah, but I'm trying to enjoy my day. I'm I'm just trying to enjoy my day and figure out ways that I can help people, man. Because I love playing video games and I like talking to people about things that like they care about. So like different things in the world. Like man, I was watching how just people in Kashmir how they're struggling because their saffron is not being sold or their crops aren't being able to grow and the government isn't really helping them. I learned about how mezcal and how their alcohol products have to be labeled a certain way just so that it'll be certified or authenticized. Like all these hurdles and all these things that make life hard, but we'll say it's for regulatory reasons or we'll say that it's for your own good reasons or like, oh, we can't tolerate this because of this. It's literally just people that are in power creating these rules so that they can stay in power. And when I speak like this, it does feel like some Martin Luther King shit. It does feel like I'll end up, maybe one day I'll be killed because the way that I view the world and how I'm talking about the world. But I mean, I've been shot for less. So ask me if I give a fuck, honestly, about that shit. Ask me if I care about people that are oppressing me, oppressing others. No, I stand up for what's right. I stand up for the people that, cannot speak as eloquent as me. And I'm not saying I speak the most well spoken English. But I just hope that people can feel the way I feel and we can just, slowly shift what we care about to things that are of importance and not of assets and wealth, because you know I'm fighting with my mother, I'm fighting with my father, I'm fighting with my father, but at the end of the day, USC or all these companies that fucking employ these assholes, or stand by all these people that are doing wrong by others, they're just gonna get more and more money. That's how money works. So the only way to change America is when you invest in things you believe in. You invest in people you believe in. You get positions of power that you can hold so that you can, change the world how you want it to be changed, because democracy is something that'll get abused by people with money. And we haven't figured out a way to make democracy, you know, heard from everybody. Like, what if everybody was able to vote on everything? There'd still be people oppressed because people just have a difference of opinion, so that's not the right way to do things. But being equal to other people, having the same shit as other people, having the same opportunities as other people, teaching your kids so that they have the ability to accept the things that make us equal. Like, okay, everybody could go get business loans, right? But if you're a little white boy that's not told, hey, keep your credit right, don't mess up your credit. Little white boy, his parents are always fucking rednecks. They just goddamn alcoholics, and all they do is fucking smoke their money, and all they do is fucking buy drugs or buy alcohol. That boy, he sees that shit. He's either gonna, one, hate everything about him, so he's gonna try and not be like them. He's going to wonder why, his parents didn't do anything to change it. There's not just one set in stone answer, so to try and fix such a problem with one solution is never going to be the outcome. And that's the problem that we have today is, we're not looking at these families individually because laws forbid it, for fear of government regulation on, individual households. But my thing would be is, would you rather have somebody that is regulating how people are so that it creates a better society? This is really on some China versus America type shit. And I learned a lot about China. I've learned a lot about America, different countries, and I can never say I would ever want to live in China. Except for the fact that people are held accountable, at least what it seems like. And I'm sure there's corruption there's corruption everywhere. But, it's kind of like, damn, well, if everybody's struggling, shit, is anybody struggling? Whereas here, it's like, you got money, and then, like, your brother or your sister is fucking poor, broke as fuck. Why can't society see that if you won't even be willing to help your own family, your own siblings, why should we be willing to give you jobs? Why should we let you work versus letting somebody else work who will actually help their own families out? Do you get what I'm saying? Because this is what happens with money. When money is taken out of the community, so say you're Spanish, you're black, and you're Asian, you make $10. You get $10 from, you get $1 from 10 different people, right? 10 different races. Now that one race, if you're black, has $10 from different races. So if that black person gives it to another black person, they have just created money for their community. They have created a resource that they took out of a white person's hand, a Asian person's hand, a Hispanic person's hand. That's the way economics works. You cannot take money from somebody or something and think that it won't have an effect somewhere else. But what we have is a disproportionate amount of black people, Hispanic people, giving their money to other ethnicities. And that's not to say that, it's right or wrong, because it can feel a bit racist, or it can feel like a bit of well, that's not fair. But to the white people listening to this, to the majority in the countries listening to this, how do you realistically, as a minority community, get enough resources to have an equal say at the table? And I'm thinking, because I don't want to say anything that, creates hate, because I don't want to promote hate speech. I don't want to promote violence, because that is not the solution. But when you get $1, think about how you spending that dollar is going to affect you versus your family. Are you putting that dollar back into the household bank so that you guys can go and buy an apartment? You guys go and buy a hotel. Why can't your mother, your father, your uncle, your auntie, your sister, your brother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your daughter, your son? That's 10 people. Why can't these 10 people invest in a hotel, invest in a motel, invest in a car business, invest in a farming business, invest in a real estate business? Why can't these 10 people come together to do that? And it's because they don't know better. But when they're trying to, when somebody tries to teach them better, it takes time to learn these things. And while I'm learning these things, that's time being spent when I'm not going to work for somebody else. So I'm getting looked at as lazy. When in actuality, I'm just trying to literally figure out what it is so that these people don't have to work for the rest of their lives. But I'd be seen as a bad person for trying to make, a living off of that. For trying to teach people how to invest in, a better way of life for themselves and their families and our families. Do you think, these people are talking about this shit? Do you think they're going and telling on YouTube, hey, um, they spreading their views? No, because they have money. They don't care. They're empowered. Would I be speaking so vehemently, so strongly? I hope I use that word in the right context. Vehemently, like so strongly, so boldly, so firmly. If I didn't believe that, like, okay, we have countries that talk about helping other countries, but we don't help ourselves. We have cops that want to help the community, but they don't help their own families. My whole life has been about people wanting to help other people, but they go about it in such the wrong way that it's like, oh my gosh, how can't you see how you're doing wrong? More harm than good. And in turn, maybe I've done the same thing. Maybe I've called too many people bitch too many times in an effort to get people to see just how hurt I am. So I'll use hurtful language to hurt other people. That does not give me a fucking excuse at all. I am just as wrong as them, and that is not right. So I would implore people that have not made the same mistakes that I have made or others have made to go and seek solutions that are peaceful. To figure out a way to remove yourself from the problem so that, you're not seen as crazy for staying somewhere because you feel like you feel like it would be stupid of you to go leave. And that in part does make me a manipulator. And I hate that shit. But I don't hate it more than I would hate, being fucking homeless. But granted, if I had to fucking do it, I know that I would fucking do it. My quality of life would be fucking, I'd be, even more angry at my family. I'd be even more bitter. I'd feel just like all the people I feel like even more of the people that I love that were pushed out of my family. And I love those people so much more now, being old enough to really conceptualize and realize, the mental victims, the people that were actually put in fucked up circumstances were never the spotlight. They were always the problem rather as seen as the solution. You know, and I'm not the only person that feels like me. Like, as long as there's at least 10% of me that feels this way, I believe I'm enough to spark enough change in this world to make that outcome happen. Because if other people feel this way, it'll just keep getting shared. It'll just keep getting publicized. It'll try and get buried. But look at what's going on in Israel and Palestine. Look at what's going on in Taiwan. In China, excuse me. Look at what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. All these small countries, these small places, these giants know what they do. They know how they cause harm. They know how they can use their resources to influence things. So when it comes time for them to, die, they're going to start realizing, hey, I was fucking up the world. And they're going to start trying to do better by it. So that small 10% becomes more like 20, 30%. And the older people, they start getting more wise. They start knowing that their karma's going to come. And if they don't have any karmic debt, if they have a debt to pay when they die, they don't want to live with that, because we are a religious people. We are a religious world. Like, we do feel like there's a higher faith in this world. There's a higher power. So when you feel like you have somebody that is going to judge you one day, you're damn straight you're gonna try and do everything you can in your power to love people the way you should have and hope that you are forgiven for your sins. But God will see that. God will see if you are trying to outsmart him or not. God is gonna be like, you just tried to repent because you was dying 5 seconds ago, bro. Do you think that deserves more? Do you honestly think, just logically speaking, do you think that he deserves to get into heaven versus the person that didn't do that but was spending their whole life trying to help the world? And since they didn't say, "Oh, I repent before they died," or so that no, if Jesus is somebody that if the God I love, you know, he don't work like that. I don't care what the Bible says. Because my faith, you don't get to tell me who the person I believe in that you've never seen. You don't get to tell me that the books that were written have not been changed. You don't get to fuck with my faith because that is something that is in my control. And that's what a lot of these outside agencies and outside companies, corporations have you believe is that religion is something that is how do you say, basically a weapon to galvanize people and to bring them towards things that they care about. When that is literally a sin of itself. Like, you're literally manipulating facts, outcomes to get your own evil, deeds and justifications done. Versus the person who tries to be equal, the person who tries to spread his shit, like his just not even like not wealth but not poverty, just tries to spread their knowledge, their just tries to help out in any way that they can. Why would they go to hell? Why would they not be deemed as good people since they didn't repent or they didn't believe in something? Honestly, let me get this straight. So you're telling me that, okay, I spent my whole life doing good. I spent my whole life doing good to people, trying to be good by people. But you got this person who spent their whole time going to church, but they were out doing frivolous and unscrupulous, fraudulent things, just negative things to hurt other people. But they consistently went to church and they never, quote unquote, lost their faith. Do you think that person, deserves to go to heaven compared to the person who didn't have faith? They were just working with what they had, trying not to harm anybody and still trying to do good by other people. You really think God is going to be like, "Oh, let me send this person to hell because he didn't believe in me"? Come on now, that's literally some governmental type shit that was made. That is literally some religious bullshit that keeps religion from actually being something that helps people in this world instead of controlling somebody. I'm willing to burn in hell a lifetime, many lifetimes, because I only know what I know. And I know that the way I've been treated should not be the way a parent treats a child, should not be the way a parent treats a young adult, should not be the way, you know. But this isn't supposed to be a 3 hour talk, you know. Um, it's just supposed to be something that that sparks conversation so that just maybe we could get some change, some more change. Just maybe we'll get these people in power who, you constantly try and talk to and communicate with. And it's like they just ignore you. You got these corporations who you can't even access anymore. At least back in the day, you'd be able to call them up type like, if, like, you know what I'm saying? You got Twitter, Facebook, all these companies that just have the right to help people, but they'll take, their profits. And some of them are actually very, very, very good. But they know that they can't move so fast because if they do, they'll shock everybody else. And it's all a conversion game. People are trying to convert each other instead of just trying to, hey, I respect your views. If you feel this way, then okay, you feel that way. That's your boundary. I got my boundaries. Let's respect it, and let's see how we can still make the world a better place. But we don't focus on that. It's much easier to cast a stone and say Palestine is wrong, or they aren't, the they have no rights to land because we have our resources over there in Israel. Or China can say, oh, Taiwan is my land, even though people in fucking Thailand are screaming, we don't want shit to do with you, China. I'm sorry, Taiwan. If I don't know if I said Thailand, but Taiwan. So, even in America, you got black people saying, I don't want to, it's not segregation. It's just they want their own. They want to have land. They want to have things that they don't have, but they see, all these rich people, all these majorities have so much that they don't give, but they're just like, dang, if I had that, I would share it. I would give it because they know what it's like. So I would strongly advise people to you want to support corporations that are doing good in this world, but you should never, you don't help promote bad things. So the bigger the business, the harder it is to make profits, the harder it is to spread wealth. Some of these companies do make the world a better place. GPS to be able to have that information just to know where you're going. That's a technology that was given to everybody, or should be to everybody. That is a great invention. But what if, and even the U.S. does have a fucked up kind of view with that, because is it right that we can turn off other people's satellites? And you can't tell me I'm not a patriot. You can't tell me I don't love fucking America. Because what I stand on is literally being an American. That's the only thing I have left. So, I don't think we should be doing wrong to get right. That's the bottom of it. The ends don't justify the means when you are literally deteriorating your youth. I'm about to wrap it up, but I just hope that, like, I should have put this out on from the beginning. Nah, I need y'all to see me how I really come. Um, I hope that maybe you can share this, and maybe somebody feels the same way that you might be feeling. And if you don't feel like me, then go share your story, and you go tell your story in whatever way that you can. Because if you're right, then you deserve to be right. Honestly. I'm just trying to make sure that we're all doing the best that we can to be as good as we can. Because what works for you doesn't always work for other people. Like some people can't go work 40 fucking hours. Some people that is hell to them. So why would you go and try and force them to go do something like that? Instead of maybe talking to people and trying to maybe you take less money, but you are able to advance your I'll say agenda, because I'm not trying to manipulate anything, but your agenda, what you view as important, what's on your to-do list, what you view is right, because I do believe that goodness does prevail. That small 10%, it wasn't always probably a 10%. It was 1%. You didn't have people protesting in masses until you had people protesting, and then you had people on the internet protesting, and then you have things like Tiananmen Square, where you literally see Chinese police officers hurting their own Chinese. So it's not about racism. That is literally the thing that they would have you believe is the factor. It's about caste systems. It's about the level of wealth that is deployed upon the poor people and the middle class, because the upper class have this really unique position to where they can make the middle class feel like they are less poor than they really are, when you're supposed to be equal. I hope you guys enjoyed, the discussion that I had today. I don't know when the next one will be. I just, I'm tired of being upset about, things that I can't control. And I'm just learning, like, you know, it's not gonna change. So maybe like certain things I can't control won't change. So I have to learn how to create that boundary, and that boundary was me being fierce. That boundary was me cursing people out to avoid them, to get them away from me. That boundary was putting my hands on a woman and just doing, grabbing people, fucking, tossing shit, like just all that toxic shit that you be seeing on like Instagram and all this fucking TikTok shit. All that stuff, that's out, man. Like, I don't give a fuck who needs to be like you have no right to put your hands on anybody, man. Anybody. If you have anybody that you're dealing with and you feel like they just make you want to put your hands on them all the time, they just make you feel like you're going nuts, because it's like, how hard headed are you? Or how, like, ugh. Stop engaging with that person immediately. Because the only thing that would have happened to me is I would have ended, like, I'd be in jail right now. But I got sick of it. Like, I'm like, no, no, you're not gonna keep telling me that you're right. Like, I've been a product. I was birthed from shit like this, so I know what it's like to feel gaslit And when you're telling me is my spouse or something that I'm wrong, but I've seen other people doing it to my mother or my father, doesn't hold too much weight. It makes you frustrated, and then you end up doing the shit that your father or your mother did to that person. And it's a fucking cycle. So the only way to end this cycle for you young women, I don't care if you white, black, brown, green, fucking orange. If you have not been told this by anybody, like they like just for whatever reason forgot to tell you or didn't know themselves, hurt people hurt people. And the moment you start feeling hurt, if you don't go and look it up, go get some help, research just why you feel the way you do. I still need to go to therapy. It's not something I've done yet. I've researched it. I've looked it up. I've watched videos about people, like semi, you know, therapist in me, if that giving me therapeutic value. But I mean, there's still so much that I know that I'm not, accredited for. I didn't go to school for that. My views, um, my views may not be all 100% correct, and I may have radical tendencies still, beneath me just because I might have used them as a protection to avoid, listening to people's, lies or mistruths about me. So you reinforce your beliefs even more to a point where they might not even be, to a point where they're not, how do you say, so, but like, they're not extreme, basically. Like, you never want your views to be an extremist view, because extremists are the people that go and hurt other people. They go and kill. They go and fight fight for what's right, quote unquote. But being an American and studying some of the most, happiest people in the world, it's being able to accept your differences, being able to accept that, hey, we aren't the same. Like, we all are people. We all, have different DNA. We all have different body cells. Like, we're humans, but we all go about living life in a different way. So, maybe we should focus on respecting the way we all decide to live our lives, and not, so much on causing harm as to trying to defend our own lives. Because when you're so focused on defense, sometimes you lose sight of who you're attacking. I hope you take time to consider the things I've talked about. Um, I for sure will be thinking about what I've talked about, what I say, what I'm told. You know, the only thing I can say about smoking weed and me not smoking weed right now would be that I just don't have an urge. That's all. Like I just don't have something telling me like, oh, do you want to smoke? Like, oh shit, I'll roll up right now. That's the only thing. Like, if you smoke weed and you like that shit, bro, in fucking joy, dog. Like, If it makes you feel better, in fucking joy. Don't let nobody, tell you about what you. No, no. Because those would be the damn opiate. Like, those would be the people that are really, on all other type of stuff, trying to tell you your shit stink when they can't even smell their own. Like, I should have ended this on that other note, but, I keep saying I'm gonna end it and I don't ever leave. So, this one I'm out. I'm about to go make my breakfast. Probably, this discussion could have been different if I probably ate first. Like, just even having your nutrients and having making sure you grow up eating proper balanced diets every day, every morning. Make sure that if your parents are making sure you're fed, you go to that school and you eat that food. I'm telling you. You may not want to. You may feel like your friends are gonna make fun of you. And this is for people in school still. You may feel like, you get laughed at for eating the top ramen or the noodles, the cheap shit. But I guarantee you, while you are living this lifestyle, while you have while you are focused on what is important to you and they're focused on what is important to them, you will be gaining insight and knowledge in areas that they could never match you at. And it's the same thing for you and them. So you have to focus and make sure that you are taking care of the things that you care about, like your health, like eating, like bathing, like making sure that you're not getting into a depressive state, like making sure that you're not abusing alcohol, weed, drugs, like all that stuff. Because one thing is for certain, misery loves company. And once you start feeling miserable, if you don't I got to a point where I was just so sick of always being told I was wrong that I was like, no, there ain't no way that I was wrong 10 times out of 10. And that's literally when it, like, a light bulb hit me, like, no, they're, like, no. I don't want to say they're lying because, I have, maybe I should have told my family, hey, I think I have a problem learning shit. Like, I think that I retain information a little bit slower than others. Maybe I should have been brave enough to tell, people that. Or maybe I should have been wise enough to create an environment where I was not seen as hostile. And this doesn't give me an excuse. But it's just, I my ex, man, like being around her mother, um and just seeing how my god grandmother acts, how my mother acts, how my sister acts. I'm surrounded by women. So for them, for the two, three closest women in my life, my mother, my sister, and my younger sister, to feel like I hate my mother or I hate my family, it's like a smack in the face to me. And I'm not gonna communicate with them. Because if you really think these things about me, either you are a liar or either you are just that lost in the sauce of whatever these niggas been smoking you, like giving to you. And I honestly think that's what happened with my stepfather. I think that he realized that I kept pointing the finger at him so much when I really should have been pointing the finger at my own parents, not somebody that Let's be honest. He had no fucking obligation to be in my life. Like, he was dating my mother, but he could have been like, fuck that little nigga. Straight up. And maybe that would have been better for me, because then I wouldn't have felt like I had an allegiance toward him. But, I mean, I can honestly say that he fucking taught me right from wrong. He fucking taught me that these people was fucked up, and him included. Like, he taught me he was literally his own fucking downfall when it came to me. He told me how to be a fucking how to go against your own parents. So why would you not think that I wouldn't go against you when you're doing shit wrong? When I see that you're wronging me. You know, what do they say? What's it called? A country for lone man or something like that. Like, it's hard for a person who's defending the whole country itself. You know. Like, I'm trying. You see this little website? I'm trying to do anything I can. I'm done asking other people for help. I'll try and design my own website. I'll try and learn how stocks work, how I can invest. I'll try and learn the tax system. I will literally do whatever it is I have to learn how to do so that I can be productive when I get this opportunity to be. Is this it? No country, oh man. Yeah, it's like we are romanticizing the violence that is going on. It's like it's not World War II, but the war that we're having amongst our mentalities and differences of opinions are loud are bigger than ever, and that's only gonna happen with time. It's only more and more gonna happen. So, if we don't learn how to if we don't learn how to use bureaucracy and diplomacy and law and language to create a more fair world, if we're so focused on fighting each other, so focused on division and not understanding, it's not China that or it's not aliens that's gonna do us in. It's not America that's gonna fuck us over. It's not Russia. It's not France, Ukraine. It's your mom, your dad, yourself, your brother, your sister. It's your household. Maybe I want to be great too much, and maybe that's my downfall. I'm so fucking terrified of being mediocre. Maybe that is the thing that makes me mediocre. Because nobody wants to be mediocre. Nobody wants to be average. So, just keep standing firm with what's right, and only you can do what feels right to you. I won't tell you to go believe what I believe in. I won't tell, you to change your beliefs. I would just ask you to go about it in a way that does not hurt anybody. Um, because it doesn't feel good to hurt your own parents. It doesn't feel good to seclude yourself from, your family. But if that's something that you feel like has to be done in order for you to create the change that you are not getting to stop the insanity of the repetitious cycle that's going on, you might want to think if it's worth the cost, or you know the cost of being silent. Because when you're silent, now you have to see your cousins. Now you have to see your nieces and your nephews go through what you went through. Do you want to see your grandchildren end up like your kids? Because you don't want to admit that you're wrong? That you're wrong to your kids, so you'd rather keep the vicious cycle going? How evil is that you'd want your own grandkids to reap what you sowed for them? So instead of telling your daughter to make sure your kids are studying instead of fucking being on their iPads and tablets for 10 hours a day, instead of telling, hey, maybe you should have your kids study for 5 hours a day instead of being on the TV. Well, you didn't have us study it. Exactly. That's my point. I didn't have you studying for 5 hours a day. I let you play video games all day. I I you know I wasn't focused on you learning the technical details. I was more focused on you, just being a happy kid. At what point are you responsible for guiding the people that you're around into, shaping them into respectable adults and human beings? We're all learning, but you have to want to learn. If you're not, then you're just all one in there and one out the other. So it's like a waste of breath. And maybe one of the reasons why I'm still talking is so that I myself can reinforce these things into my own psyche. Because I know that I'm not perfect. I know that, Jesus, right when I get off this conversation, there could be 1,000 triggers in the next hour that might set me off. Maybe not 1,000, but there's so much dumb shit that could happen in the next hour that I have to adamantly be like, don't give into it. Don't give into it. Her comments are just comments. Just, you can't control that shit. The way she lets you speak and the way she doesn't talk over you, or, she doesn't yell at you when you're doing this shit. Just be mindful of it. I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of fucking losing my voice. I'm tired of yelling at people. I'm tired of trying to get people to understand something that, is such a frowned upon thing to talk about. So I hope you guys have a good day. I'm done. Um, Comment whatever you think. Um, Tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead. Uh, I really do want to create a conversation to where, you know we are being more accountable for our own actions, and we're less so worried about the actions of others. Because, man, I spent so many years of my life thinking my stepdad would come, like apologize, or fucking think, like, or finally realize that he was the one that fucked up the relationship with us. He was the one that fucking tried to turn me against my mother. He was the one that tried to like do so much shit. It's like, why would I even want a relationship with those type of people or that person? It's it's a complex issue, and I'm sure yours is no less complex. But if we ignore it, if we just if you keep walking by that person that is telling you they're not happy, you're not helping them, and you don't even ask how you can help them. You know, you're just as bad as those people that watch other people like get harm done to them. You're not an innocent bystander. You're just as part of the problem. So, um, I would have liked for this to be a podcast with somebody else with me talking back and forth, but unfortunately, it seems like nobody is willing to be the martyr for the truth or for what should be spoken. Um, I don't think we should harm people for speaking their minds and cut them off. Cause just think, imagine if he did help me get that job. Imagine if I had got a good job when I was 21. I probably would have stopped smoking weed because I would have, that's money, bro. Thousands of dollars. You wouldn't even be worried about some of the shit, some of the issues or some of the things that you have going on in your life. You'd be so much. You'd be doing other things at your time. You'd be able to help people. And the one thing I can say is maybe, and not maybe, but the one thing I can say is, I wish I wasn't so fucking out of it, like sad and shit, that I would have noticed that I was actually sad and not like angry, because I felt angry, but it was more so just like, what the fuck. And that pushed me away from wanting to be a police officer. Not because the fucking hood, not because I want to be a gang member or any ignorant shit like that. I mean, just because I don't want to arrest anybody. I don't want to put anyone in jail that, has a second chance on them. Because I know that nobody wants to give me another chance. Nobody ever extends second chance. It's like, oh, they fucked up, so fuck them. And I don't even know what I fucked up on. Honestly. Like, am I, like, this whole conversation. Like, my giving my loyalty to my stepdad instead of my mother and my father, I guess. But he would never have even been in my life if they did what they were supposed to have done from the gate. Now, I'm wrong because, once you know that and, you don't change it, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it's like, okay, well, you know this shit. You know they're fucking with you now, and you're still letting them. So, I would have less fucking broken shit in my life if I wasn't always reacting to how other people made me feel. And that's something that I felt like has been very, very difficult to control in my life. Because it's upsetting when you don't, when you're told that you're wrong or you feel like you're right. You feel like you've thought about the other situation, but you're still right. But you won't be seen as right or heard. So, I hope you all, learn from me, because it feels like I am one nation under one man right now. And I feel like I'm trying to help anybody who wants it, because hopefully this shit helps me. Like I hope that, you know, talking to you guys, I can learn. Okay, I understand now. This is a different discussion. Okay, I'm 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 learning. I'm growing. I'm not doing the same thing and thinking I'm gonna get a different outcome. And that's where people might think, like, oh, like, you don't know what you want to do. Well, that, that's not quite true. I know I want to help people, but how do you go about doing it in the best way? And sometimes we get stuck up on that. Sometimes it's not always about the best way. Sometimes it's just about helping somebody. However they ask you to help them. I love my brothers. Love my sisters. Like, y'all so beautiful. Like, but you have to have compassion for other people. And if you're not taught that, it's it's a cold fucking world. Like, honestly, yesterday I was playing the game. I was playing Overwatch. It was late. Uh, I don't know why, but I feel like when I hop on a game console, when I hop on, it's always gonna be some asshole that's just negative or something. And the truth of the matter is, I was that asshole. I am that asshole. Like, I felt like everything around me was fucking up, so I get on the game, and that shit's fucking up my games. Like, I can't even enjoy my games because I feel like it. Like I don't think I'm doing it, but I'm taking like shit out on other people in ways that they would take it out on me. Do you see how hurt people now? Like, so last night somebody sent me that picture. This one, the one that I oh my gosh, where's it at? This one. They sent me this, and literally right after they did this, they said some racist shit about black people and how they like to dance all raunchy and shit or whatever, like a 12-year-old girl. That's not black people. That is just being not raised correctly. That can be white people or any other type of race, Asians, any other type of race. So they still sent me this, but that's how you can say, that's how you know that just because somebody believes one thing does not mean that all their other beliefs are wrong. So you have to think about what is in your control. And I was playing the game. The match just started. It was loud music and shit playing. I'm like, oh, this nigga probably trash. Like he probably like he probably don't care about nothing because he just like he bumping his music. And everybody probably trying to focus and he don't even care. But I was just gonna get on and start trolling, bro. I even started to. I literally started to troll my. I was talking to accent, just going like trying to do some funny stuff or whatever. Um, but then I was like, you know what? I just cut it. I was like, let me be mature. Let me just let him let me be like I'm not gonna be rude. Like I don't want to go off on nobody. I'm just trying to have a good match. Let me just be quiet. And we started talking, And then we end up playing games together and stuff. Like some dude that I was literally about to shit on, literally about to start talking shit to, had it already ready, just ready because shit in my own life. And now I got somebody like we'll probably play games all the time. Like I'll always be down to play with bro. Whenever you want to hit me up or whatever, like oh like it's nothing cool. And like we like even when we lost, it's like all right, bro. Like how can we fix it? Like for the first time, I'm finding like black people that aren't like the black people I grew up around. So it's not a racist thing, it's a learning thing. It's a parental generational thing. It's about how we treat people that are like us and unlike us. And it should be the same. I love that Tennessee woman who stood with the black dudes when they were trying to silence the kids and stuff. Um, like you see her, she's in her little buggy and stuff, like marching down the street, like that's beautiful. Like it brings tears to my eyes because I know that there's so much hate in this world from your own parents sometimes, and how they view your skin, and that oh that's what the reason is, or that's why you're so wild, or you're so uncontrolled because you're like your father. Seeing her makes me think that okay, well, not everybody is like that. Not everybody is, you know, fortunate enough to have her type of education, or to, have went and been, educated to, the level that she was. So it's not to spite my own parents, but it's just like, damn, dude, I seen you talking so much shit about Indian people and fucking other people, Mexicans and all this other shit. You won't even claim yourself as a Mexican. Like, just so much hate towards yourself and your own people and the people that you are amongst. To find out that you literally watched the Trump shit, the Fox News of it all. To just for me to have been so oblivious, and like I didn't know about the Fox and all that other stuff growing up. Like I thought Fox was the shit. Like I thought Channel 11 that's what you watch. Like until your best friend's like, you watch that shit? And then I'm like, wait, what does she mean by that? Why is your friend saying, why do you watch that? And then when you start researching, and you're like, oh, they're all conservatives over there. They all believe in white people and well, not white people, but they all believe in helping yourself and not helping others. They all believe in, oh, we have to do, what's best for the country. Fuck the bottom. Because that's how you grow the fastest. No, that's how you grow without a foundation. And history will have you see, like, you'll see that. So, long nail, nappy hair. I ain't got a 6-pack, PJs. I'm no different from nobody else. I don't try and be different from anybody else. My goal is to look like my natural way. I want people to feel included because for the longest time, I wasn't included. I was forgot about when people would go places. I wasn't it wasn't something that was like, oh, like I don't want to go. No, it's just I don't why would I want to go with people that feel these ways towards me? I don't want to be alone. I would have loved to have been out with my friends and stuff like that growing up, but these people didn't want me to. They didn't let me. So it was either if I did it my own, oh, you're that 16-year-old runaway. Who wants to be that? Who wants to be labeled a runaway? To the government because they're because you as a child don't want to snitch on your own parents for the misogynistic ways that they are fucking creating in you, for the rapist vibes that they're fucking instilling in you, for the fucking get these women drunk so that you can take advantage of you. These are the people that we give power to. Be mindful of it. Be mindful of the person you hang out with. I'm telling you, because your best friends will abandon you and think that, what your mother is saying is true. My best friend would probably think like, how the hell could he ever talk like this to his mother? My mother is like phenomenal, hardworking, intelligent, works with other races, not just black, you know, has taken guidance from leaders that were white, other races, like just intelligent, like genuinely well versed people, who have something to show for it. Like, single mother said, "Fuck a man." Like, I'm gonna figure this shit out. Like, I got my son, so I'm gonna figure it out. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. Like, Miss Bridget, like, I don't care what the fuck me and your son have went through or why we don't talk. But, like, I'll always have love for that lady. Like, Miss B, she checked me on so much shit that I didn't get checked on growing up, that I learned how to be literally a better me than I ever could have possibly been. I seen her, I don't want to speak too much about their family because that's his family and we don't talk. And I want to give respect to, because he's one of the, still to this day, I don't talk to him, but I know the shit that I learned from him and being around him, just like my stepdad. Fucking priceless. Lessons are fucking priceless, dude. Seeing the love that seeing the love that my stepfather gave to his cousins. Seeing the love that my stepfather gives to his family. Still. I was stuck for so long, being hurt, that it kind of froze me. And who's to say that tomorrow is not just gonna be like the whole last 365 days of me trying to learn something and me failing? But who's to say that tomorrow won't be a day where I learn? Where I learn, it's I got a little bit more. As long as I learn a little bit more every day, hopefully I'll become something that I can be, that I'll genuinely feel like I should be proud of. I'll feel like I can have that kid. I'll feel like I can birth that son or that daughter, and when I have them, they'll have the intelligence that when they become of age, that they will be able to speak eloquently and not be in abusive relationships with people, and they'll be able to focus on their families and not money. Because that's my thing. You had the family, had the money. You just didn't care enough about the family. You cared about spending your money. My family comes from probably, I want to say, the three richest people, like three richest houses of their neighborhoods. Honestly, sold houses for millions of dollars. Where is it? Squandered. Um, you getting you getting housing and shit. Section 8. You stay with your mom. You make $2,500, $3,000 a check. You buy your mom a car. That's nice. That's fucking nice. But you didn't buy her fucking down payment on a house. You know you didn't work out a way that she could have real estate so that you know that you will always have a home for your family and all your cousins and shit like that because you're selfish. You know, you you know what it was like when you were fucking, on trial. You know what it was like when you were going through hardships and nobody had anything to give you, so you hate the world for it. That's why you turn your back on your own son, or your stepson, the person that you raised since he was fucking 4 or 5 years old, and you were like 17, 16 years old. Well, 18, 19. Let's not, let's use the numbers a little bit. I don't want to just spit out shit. But like about 19, 20 years old. How can you not be attached to somebody? Like, how can you not care? So, I'm nowadays I'm less focused on the right and wrong of that stuff, and just more so on how I can be there to care for the people that actually need me. The people that actually, are going through something in life and don't have anybody to talk to, don't have anybody that wants to help them get to the next step in their business and their life and their designs and their knowledge and their religion and their culture and the way they cook, the way they eat, the way they nutrition themselves, the way that they exercise. I just want to be a wealth and source of knowledge for people to come to me when they need something, and you don't have to fucking pay me. I don't ask for your fucking money. Money comes when two people get together and they have a product that they can put out, and so that's when my money will come. My money will come from partnerships, not from having to take from other people. you know I'd rather have 10% of 10 pies than to have a whole fucking pie by myself and eat it alone. Some people are happy doing it the other way. I guess I'm just a little different. But this is all. I done stopped being hungry from drinking the coffee. um, I don't care about looking soft or none of that shit, man. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Um, just I love Tupac, Eminem, Obama, so many people, but those are just those are the three people that I really admire. Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, um, who else? Michelle Obama, um, Kamala Harris, definitely. She's growing up there. Uh, her you know, her husband. I want to see people that are creating a world that is more like the world that, you know, is fair. Um, all these Trumps, Elon Musk's, um, um, Murdoch, like all these people that are just spreading disinformation and all this negative propaganda and stuff to galvanize people in a way that is not positive. You know, you're doing wrong. You know, you're just making this world worse than what it was when you got here, and that's fucked up.